Hey everybody, how's it going? Silent Laws here. Just wanted to make a video addressing all the people asking about creative tricks in Tony Hawk speedrunning, specifically Tony Hawk's Underground 1, and it also kind of applies for Tony Hawk's Underground 2, but not nearly as much. Before I get into it, just want to shout out the Tony Hawk Discord and the Speedrun.com page. Links in the description. I also have a lovely installation guide for Tony Hawk's Underground, how to set it up, how to stream it, all that kind of fun stuff. Check the links there as well in the description. A lot of helpful stuff. So firstly, I want to answer the main question, why are you using creative tricks in speedrunning and why does it work so well? Well, there's a couple main reasons actually. There are several goals in the game where they're kind of like nail the tricks goals where you have to do tricks over a gap. At most you can get 4, maybe less if you have very good luck, or RNG as most people in the speedrunning community call it. Basically the number of tricks that show up is kind of random, but you can greatly increase your odds through the use of a certain binding method of the created trick, because you can map one created trick to pretty much every trick if you wanted, and I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. Also, another thing is butt slaps. Now if you don't know what butt slaps are, you want to learn how to do them, I also have a tutorial for that. I got you guys, don't worry, I got you guys covered. So check that out. Very useful for speedrunning. Now, created tricks, I don't know if it's a placebo effect or if it actually is, but most people find it a lot easier to do butt slaps, and more butt slaps with the use of a created trick. So that's another reason why we use it. This trick, if you hear it referenced on stream, it is called Cat Bag, a reference to a Twitch emote, along with being appropriately abbreviated as Created Trick Broken Ass Game, because that's essentially what we're doing here. Now, if you don't want to set this up yourself, there is a link on the speedrun.com resources page for Thug 1, and it has all my save files and stuff like that, all the tricks in there. You just need to drop it into your Tony Hawk's Underground folder. You go into game, and then you go into save, and you just drop all the files in there, and it should work pretty okay. It might do a little funky chicken if you don't do the created tricks as well as the save files of the game. It might not work necessarily, so make sure you get both of them, or make sure you at least do the created tricks. So if you want to make your own, if you want to be a stubborn muffin, essentially you can make anything you want. It doesn't matter what you put here as long as it's 0.4 seconds long. Like, I've seen people do this before, just nothing, and yeah, you can make it 0.4 seconds long and it's perfectly fine. Also, naming is very important as well. A lot of these tricks are case sensitive. That's what I'm assuming happens with the game. I'm not really sure all the mechanics and everything, but I'm assuming it just checks for the name of the trick rather than you doing an actual trick. So by using a created trick, you're essentially tricking the game into thinking that you did a trick that you didn't, and with a lot less effort. And you can do it on flat ground too. So, things like grab tricks, flip tricks, lip tricks, grind tricks, flat ground tricks, special tricks, created tricks in the story, nollie, pressure, no comply, boneless, wall plant, basically everything under the sun except gaps and rotations. You can all make those in here, and like I said, only 0.4 seconds long, so you're definitely saving yourself a lot of time and a lot of effort, and not doing as many inputs. Like I said, case sensitive, and you also got to make sure you get the spaces in there. So, a couple examples here. This one's a little tricky, handstand, they have that capitalized, so just really watch for those. I mentioned grinds earlier. You're going to want to put the FS or the BS in there, or else it won't really work as well. So I'm going to bring over some of my created tricks, and I'll show you guys how to rebind them properly. Alright, so we're back. You can map everything out in high score free skate before actually even starting the story. So we're going to go ahead and edit tricks. Now usually if you remap a trick over another one, it'll just move it to another place, so nose grab will go over here. But in the instance of a created trick, firstly I'm going to load my created tricks in. There's a limit to how many created tricks you can have at once, so you're going to want to choose the things that are going to be most beneficial to you for the goals that you pick. Alright, so now we have our created tricks loaded in. There is one trick I recommend that you keep, either a Madonna or an FS Shifty. FS Shifty, to my knowledge, is the fastest grab you can execute. And if you do a boneless 180 double tap aka, you know, a BS Shifty. It'll still get you special. Madonna, or at least a Judo, the double tap variety of the grab. If you do a boneless 180 Judo, it gets you a lot of points as well. More points than the BS Shifty. And it is probably the best trick you can do on flat ground, and gets you special right away, gets you a lot of points. So we're going to leave that one alone. But everything else is fair game, and I know a lot of people have different setups. It depends what you guys find what works best for you. I know some people usually just remap over the basic directions. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to first equip a created trick over, because if you equip a normal trick and then try and do it, it'll just move it to somewhere else. So definitely want to do a throwaway created trick. So something you're not ideally going to use. Now, for beginner, I would recommend maybe using a boneless or a no comply, just because you get probably the most use out of it. As for normal and sick, I would say probably nollie, because you use nollie 5 times on normal and then 15 times on sick. Also pressure as well, but it's up to you guys. Let's say, okay, we're going to use boneless, so we're going to equip something that isn't boneless, and then we're going to equip the boneless. And then we're just going to do that again. And now we have 2 bonelesses, so depending on, you know, it doesn't matter if you press up B or up grab or left grab. Since these are both the same trick, you do both of these with either input. So it's hella broken. So yeah, you can do that for all of your tricks if you wish. And then for me, what I do is that I keep most of my tricks. Most of my other tricks go down here. So let's just put, you know, whatever. And then you just kind of have to remember which tricks are where. So there's that. Once again, you can do it over here. Going with boneless again. So throwaway, and then the actual useful trick. And you're going to want to do that for every single trick that you want to change. So pretty straightforward stuff once you know what you're doing. Now, you may have noticed I mentioned McTwist. McTwist is actually required to have on your trick set somewhere. Usually you just have it on special by default. You need it for the goal where you go and do the McTwist over the helicopter. But like I said, it doesn't check that you're actually doing the real McTwist. So you can do your created trick McTwist and then save that for something else. So usually I go with like a semi-flip. And then my other tricks are usually like Indy 900 and to mix it up. So now we have some beautiful tricks here. Pretty freaking amazing. So I'll show you guys Cat Bag in action, and I'll give you some warnings, some tips and tricks for certain things. So I'll be right back once again. Alrighty, welcome back, guys. This right here is my normal /6 setup. You can remap it, like I said, to whatever the heck you want. You don't have to follow my lead. Ideally, yes, it is faster to put this somewhere else, but that's just me. That's how I deal. So that's my setup. Now to show it in action. Alright, so a couple of warnings to wrap up the video. Do not change your pro skaters' tricks to created tricks for the Jersey Spine Trick Spot Challenge. It will still show up as regular tricks and they will not register despite your inputs. I actually had my game crash while trying to change my created tricks back to regular tricks, so not very fun if you're close to the end of a nice run and you have that happen to you. So don't do it! Don't do it! Don't be tempted! Also, if you're doing all of the story goals or for some reason want to do the private eye goal, you do need a kickflip somewhere on your trick list, or else it will not let you do the goal. If in San Diego it shows temp, do not worry, just do your basic input for the heel flip or 360 flip or what have you. Alright, so lastly and most importantly, the Hawaii warning. Essentially, the goals are lined up in a way where sometimes it will just force you right into another goal because you're at the end of a chapter, the chapter finale goal. The chapter finale goal for Hawaii requires you to have a McTwist. Now, because it forces you into this goal, you do not have to change your special trick to a McTwist, just as long as you can accomplish the goal by using a created trick McTwist or a special trick McTwist. Doesn't matter. For some reason, you know, if you miss the helicopter jump or you get the gap before the trick, which you need the trick before the gap, or something else, something along those lines, and you're tempted to hit retry goal, it'll prompt a little text box to come up that says you need to change your trick to a McTwist. Do not be alarmed if the timer is still running at the top of the screen. That means you are still in the goal. All you have to do is hit skip this challenge and go through the warp point next to the vending machine that you wall planted in the drain the pool finale sort of goal. So you go back to the roof and you can do it again up until the timer runs out. So do not panic until the timer runs out. Then you panic. So yes, even if you hit retry goal, it's not the end of the world, guys. Just hit skip this challenge, go through the warp point. It's all daisies. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this answers your questions. Like I said, if you have any more, drop them in the comments or in the Tony Hawk Discord. My name is Silent Laws. Peace out.